Andretti to the Cup Series becomes really real. The Indy Car Series has a new deal with Fox, and Martin Truex Jr. makes it Facebook official. Let's get into it. Coming up next. What's going on, everybody? Hope you're doing good today. Facebook official, is that still a thing? But anyway, let's get it out of the way real quick. Martin Truex Jr. announces officially that he is going to retire at the end of the 2024 season. He did that today at a 4 p.m. press conference. Very emotional. Johnny Morris was there, Joe Gibbs, all the JGR racing drivers are there. A couple of things to take away from it. He said he is open to driving part-time and he will continue to be an ambassador for Joe Gibbs Racing. And I say the ambassador part because there are a few people who feel like he is being forced out. If he was being forced out, I don't think he would continue to be an ambassador for him. So I think we can put the him being forced out story maybe to bed, but cool to see that he is still going to be driving something somewhere is what he said. I think his exact words in that press conference. But that is official, so we can move on from that, and the speculation begins as to what sponsors will come back and who will drive that car. Made a whole video about that yesterday, so I'm not going to tackle that today. On to the next one. This via J-Ski. Speaking on the Dale Jr. Download podcast, Mario Andretti was asked about his involvement in racing after stepping out of the cockpit, which includes being involved in his son's racing ventures. Michael Andretti, the son of Mario, fields Andretti Autosport in the NTT IndyCar Series, a team that has won 4 IndyCar championships and has the 5 Indianapolis 500 victories. Michael Andretti was denied the opportunity to field a team in Formula One earlier in the year in a move that sparked much public outcry from fans, and it sounds like Andretti could be preparing for a venture in the NASCAR Cup Series. With Michael being involved in every aspect of our sport, that gives me reason to find a home no matter where I go, Andretti said. Pretty soon it's going to be a home even in Cup, and I hope I'm still alive for that. Last summer, Andretti seemed to show interest in Andretti Autosport joining the NASCAR Cup Series. One of the team's main sponsors, Gamebridge, became a key partner with Spire Motorsports, which fields 3 NASCAR Cup Series entries. Via Yardbarker is where J-Ski found it. Holy crap. Like, I was going to make this video yesterday, and I did make a video on it yesterday, but I was like, you know what? Let's just make another one. No need to be lazy, because we'll just include the Martin Truex Jr. stuff in here. But Mario Andretti basically said, hey, Andretti Autosport is coming to Cup. And you saw right there in that quote from J-Ski where they said, hey, you know what? Gamebridge is already with Spire, so it's really not hard to connect the dots as to which team he is going to go to. Now, Andretti also said hopefully he's still alive by the time it happens, so it doesn't sound like it's necessarily maybe happening next year or anything that's really super imminent. But the fact that Gamebridge is sponsoring Spire, we know what team it's going to go to. The only question now becomes, since Mario Andretti basically just spilled the beans here, when will it happen, and is the current driver lineup still going to be there? Right now, you've got Michael McDowell, you've got Carson Hocevar, you've got Corey LaJoie. In Michael McDowell, you've got a guy who raised up, he was a key part in how Front Row Motorsports has raised itself up to essentially next year being a Tier 1 Ford team. He was a huge part of that process, along with all the other men and women over there that work on those cars to get it to that level. But Michael McDowell is a great talent. He's a great guy that comes in there and you can build, or he can help you build that Spire Motorsport up to another level, or Spire Andretti, Spire, whatever it's going to be called, you know, when essentially Andretti probably, most likely, comes in and becomes a part of it. Then you've got Carson Hocevar, who is leading the Rookie of the Year standings points-wise, so you've got a good young talent over there. And then you've got Corey LaJoie, who is a veteran of the sport, has gotten lots of really good finishes in underfunded equipment. A lot of people don't like Corey LaJoie. I'm on the opposite of that. I think Corey LaJoie is a really good driver. He just hasn't had the equipment to show it yet. And I think as Spire Motorsport gets more and more better equipment and things like that, with this link to Gamebridge, they got money coming in from Gamebridge, and it looks like the Andrettis are probably going to be a part of this Spire team too. I think you're just going to see this team rise and rise and go to another level, which begs another question. We know they're not probably going to be a Tier 1 Chevrolet team anytime soon, so with Andretti Autosport having connections to all kinds of manufacturers from, you know, Cadillac to Volkswagen, one of those manufacturers is Honda. Honda has been rumored to be very, very interested in coming to the Cup Series. Not even rumored. They've acknowledged it, that they are thinking about coming to Cup. Andretti Autosport has a relationship with Honda. They run Hondas over there in the IndyCar Series. That seems like a logical fit at this point, because Andretti Autosport would want to be a Tier 1 team. If you go with Honda, you will be Honda's Tier 1 team no matter what. And then you've got those drivers over there, that good driver lineup to raise you up to that next level. And then you're getting Tier 1 equipment. You could see Spire, Andretti, whatever you would want to call it at that point, raise up to another level next season. or whatever season that Andretti, comes in and buys into Spire. All this hypothetical, but not hypothetical that they're probably coming to NASCAR because Mario Andretti spilled the beans there. Like, that was crazy. Like, I can't believe we haven't seen more information about this quote. I was like, he literally just said they're coming to NASCAR at some point. And I was just like, man, like, he dropped a bombshell there, and I feel like nobody really picked up on it. So it's pretty crazy to me. I don't know. But yeah, let me know down in the comments what you think about it, because this is another silly season bombshell, in my opinion, and it's not getting covered as much because it just happened to be on the same day that Martin Truex Jr. basically, yesterday I was rumored he was retiring, and today it's official he's retiring. So it's sort of getting lost in the sauce here. Speaking of IndyCar, they just signed a deal with Fox, a historical media rights partnership for the 2025 NTT IndyCar Series races to air on Fox. And then you go over here and look at the schedule, and that is a thing of beauty. Look at that. Want to find an IndyCar race in 2025? Guess what you got to do? Just turn it to Fox on race day, because all 17 races are on Big Fox, the main network. Now, I think there's a couple of reasons for this, and I wanted to address a couple things about it. A lot of people are like, how come NASCAR can't strike a deal like this, and with their TV partners and just put them all on the main network? Well, part of the reason NASCAR can't do that or won't do that is because, well, NASCAR has a stronger viewership right now than IndyCar, so the major network TV deals that have these things going on, they're putting it on cable channels to force that viewership over there to make you pay for the premium cable channels. So that's a game that the TV companies are playing. But for the IndyCar deal, I think that Fox is trying to build IndyCar up to get that type of thing so that eventually they can put it on cable to entice more people to buy their cable packages or streaming services or whatever, however this thing works its way out into the future. But with that being said, it does beg the question, who will call the races? Will IndyCar get the hokey cartoon characters, the hokey Fox NASCAR treatment from those announcers and things like that? I don't think that's going to be the case. I think IndyCar is still going to maintain control, and I'm far from an IndyCar expert, but from everything I've looked at and seen, it looks like IndyCar is going to maintain control over the broadcast. They're basically, essentially, kind of going to have the F1 model where they stay in control of producing the entire event, and, they just basically sell it to Fox, even though it'll be a live production, you know what I'm saying? They'll be in control of the production crew. So for an organization, since it's been bought by Roger Penske, that's been met with a lot of scrutiny for some of the decisions he's made, I think this is an excellent decision. I think you're going to have more eyeballs than ever on IndyCar, and I think it's going to be overall good for the sport. So this is absolutely a win-win for the Penske group since they've purchased IndyCar. I know they've made some choices that a lot of the IndyCar fans don't like, but I think this one right here is going to be win-win for them. And what this means for NASCAR in the future also, going back to them being in control of how everything's produced and all that, the camera work, I think that's the big thing as to why NASCAR is building that huge media center over there in Charlotte. That is going to be NASCAR's, how they look at it in the future too. NASCAR wants to be in control of everything, as you see from the labor talks. We're not getting into that. Made a video about that the other day too, if you want to check it out. But yeah, NASCAR wants to be in control of the broadcast from here on out too, so they can be in a similar situation where they're basically making a TV show and selling it to whoever wants to come in and purchase it. And I think that'll make for more lucrative contracts in the future as well. So that's why I brought up the IndyCar deal. I know I normally don't talk about IndyCar, but I think going forward in the future with NASCAR TV deals, this is something you need to look at, because there's a reason NASCAR is building that huge media center. They want to be in control of the broadcast as well going forward. So I think that's really interesting that IndyCar sort of is the first peek at what probably will be the future of NASCAR broadcasts as well. All right, that's about it for this one. That's all I got for you. If you made it this far, I would love to have your subscription. If not, I'll keep making these things. If you're already subscribed, I appreciate you all as well. And if you got a question, comment, or anything like that, leave it down in the comment section. I try to get to as many of them as I can. And other than that, have a good Friday. Thanks for your time. Peace.